And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're getting there, slowly but surely, thanks to you. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, keep those comments coming, and share with a friend, because the stupidity in DC is boundless. When I say boundless, yesterday, just yesterday again. Look, every day I'm going to talk to you about the chaos. And I wish to God I didn't have to, but I do. And yesterday, Trump welcomed the Norwegian Prime Minister. Okay, sounds right to me. But as most of his talks with foreign leaders go, they sat in the Oval Office and Trump took questions. Now, on their way into the White House, a reporter asked Trump if he thinks that Putin is going to capitulate to his demands. Play the clip.
President Trump, sir, today you told Vladimir Putin to stop with the attacks. Do you think he'll listen to you?
I do, yeah.
Do you think he'll still chant for peace?
Yeah, they may as well have turned around and said to him, "Why don't you shut the fuck up? I'm going inside. I can't answer that question." Because the second that I answer the question, the exact same thing that happened with China is going to happen with Russia. Russia is not going to turn around and listen to Trump. Why? Because he put stop in all caps on a Truth Social post? Meanwhile, later, Trump is asked if he will sanction Russia if they don't stop attacking Ukraine. Remember, the attack on Kiev was horrific, one of the worst in the war. Play that clip.
Mr. President, on Russia, do you still believe that Putin is serious about peace given the events overnight in Ukraine? And if that bombing doesn't end, are you considering new sanctions on Russia?
So we are thinking that very strongly that they both want peace, but they have to get to the table. We're waiting a long time. They have to get them to the table, and I think we're going to get peace. We want to save 5,000 young people. I used to say 2,500. I now say 5,000. We have, Mr. Prime Minister, we have about 5,000 young people a week that are dying in that ridiculous war. And, I started out because I didn't like all the money that we were paying, and then I realized how many people were dying. And that's by far the more important element right now. I'm saying we can save thousands of people. And I don't like that it takes long at all, but I think they both want to make peace. I do believe so. There's a lot of hatred there. There's a lot of very bad blood, a lot of distrust. But I think I hope we're going to get there for the sake of a lot of young people that are dying.
Let me be very clear about something. And why Trump refuses to acknowledge this, I don't know. Sometimes I wish I was sitting next to him. I would say, "Mr. President, let me be very clear. This was an unprovoked attack by Russia against a sovereign nation. End of story. Drop the mic." And to turn around and to side with Putin over Zelensky makes zero sense at all. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, another reporter asks Trump why he isn't putting more pressure on Russia instead of the pressure going on to Zelensky. Why are you not putting more pressure on Russia? Play the clip.
Why are you not putting more pressure on Russia? I know a lot of Europeans.
Putting a lot of pressure. You don't know what pressure I'm putting on Russia. They're dealing. You have no idea what pressure I'm putting on Russia. We're putting a lot of pressure.
Can you maybe tell us that?
We're putting a lot of pressure on Russia, and Russia knows that, and some people that are close to it know, or he wouldn't be talking right now. The Prime Minister understands that better than anybody. He wouldn't be talking right now. He's talking, and we're putting a lot of pressure. I think he wants to make a deal. We're going to find out very soon, but it takes two to tango, and you have to have Ukraine want to make a deal too, and they're being hit very hard, and I do believe they want to make a deal.
As I wrote in my Substack this morning, which I entitled Diplomacy by Delusion, Disaster by Design, in it, I turn around and I talk about what's going on right now, this so-called peace process, this deal between Russia and Ukraine, where Trump claims he's making progress. Question that I ask, with whom? He's in these back channel talks with Russia while Ukraine isn't even at the table. When you turn around, they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. You're not offering Zelensky a seat at the table to talk, to negotiate what's in the best interest of Ukraine. You're shoving down his throat the annexation of Crimea. You're shoving down the throat the loss of their land, their mineral rights. You're talking about so many things that Zelensky cannot do as the president of his country without turning around and then just saying, why don't I just hand you the keys to the entire country? I mean, the last Russia-related clip that I want to show is Trump literally speaking about what concession Russia has offered. The fact of the matter is, and I want to preempt this by saying, there is no concession that Russia is offering. It's all on Zelensky, again, to capitulate to dear old Donald. Play the clip.
We're just in there because we're nice people, and we are nice people, but we're using a lot of pressure.
What concessions, Mr. President, and to your national security team, what concessions has Russia offered up thus far to get to the point where you're closer to peace?
Stopping the war, taking the whole country. Pretty big concession.
We heard about Putin taking the country within a couple of days. By the end of the weekend, we're now 2.5 years or so into this war. Not so easy. Not so easy, Mr. President. Meanwhile, on the topic of war and peace, Trump, of course, brings up Greenland. Play that clip.
Continue to lack support from NATO allies in your goal of obtaining Greenland. How will you proceed if you don't get that support?
Well, Greenland's going to be interesting, but that's for another day. I think we need that for international peace.
What are you expecting of your
And if
allies?
you don't have that, I think it's a big threat to our world. So I think Greenland's very important for international peace. Yeah, please go ahead.
Once again, expansionism. Meanwhile, Trump then goes on. He has this delusional word salad, this word vomit moment, talking about energy and egg prices in front of this prime minister. Play the clip.
You know, if you look at what happened, everyone said, oh, I said I was going to get prices down. I did. Energy just hit $1.98 in a couple of states. It's way down. Energy's down, and we're about $64 a barrel. When I came in, and we were looking at $89, $90, $95. And by the way, that helps us solve the war too. Having those energy prices is a big incentive for Russia to also agree with solving the war problem. Groceries are down. When I was with you 2 months ago, you were complaining about eggs. I said I just got here. I was here for about a week when the press started saying about eggs have gone through the roof. I said, I just got here. Tell me about eggs. And they happened. They went through the roof and you couldn't get them. So we just had a big Easter egg hunt at the White House. Thousands and thousands of eggs. And the price was down 87%. So we did a great job.
Yeah, that's not true, by the way. And let me also just remind everybody that there was an issue called the bird flu, right? Meanwhile, he continues with this nonsensical rant, this delusional rant, and says that he can't think. Imagine this. Trump can't think of one country that doesn't want to make a deal with the United States. Well, Mr. President, allow me to enlighten you. That's what I used to do for so many years. Yesterday, China told you, Xi Jinping and their commerce individuals, they told the world that they don't want to make a deal. Play the clip.
Housing is doing very well. We should lower interest rates. That's the Fed. I hope they lower interest rates. That's a smart thing to do. Be ahead a little bit, although already it's a little bit late. But in the end, we just have a great country. We have a very strong country, and we have every other country. I can't think of one country that doesn't want to negotiate a deal. And they either negotiate a deal or we set a deal that we think is fair. Because we don't have to go through all of these. It would be physically impossible. You have so many people that really understand it, which is a very small group of people here. And we are going to, at some point, just set prices for deals. Some will be tariffed. Some treated us very unfairly. They'll be tariffed higher than others. but we've been ripped off for many, many years. The United States has been ripped off like no country probably in the history of the world has been ripped off for 45, 50 years. And countries...
Right back to the talking points. Meanwhile, again, none of this is true. When you negotiate, a negotiation is between two people engaging in conversation, talking about what serves their interest best, and coming up with a deal that works for both and for neither. That is what's a good negotiation. What he's saying is either they negotiate to our terms, or we tell them what the terms are going to be. As I said just moments ago, Mr. President, yesterday, China told you to go kick rocks. And Trump was asked about yesterday's statement from China. This is what he had to say. Play the clip.
Mr. President, question on China.
But thank you very much for that question.
Can I ask you the question on China?
I like that question. Yeah, please.
A question on China. Can you clarify with whom the U.S. is speaking with China? They're saying it's fake news that trade talks are happening.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China. And so I think you have, Jeff, as usual, I think you have your reporting wrong. Thank you very much. We'll see you. We'll see you in...
Attack the journalist. I want to end on a clip of Marco Rubio playing the deal leader role while literally talking about Russia and Ukraine. Play that clip.
Both very much looking to make a deal. Marco, what would you say?
Well, first of all, what was put before our partners was options to discuss about things that it would take to end a war. This war is endable. Both sides just have to agree to it. We've shown them a pathway forward. We've discussed those ideas. There was a good meeting yesterday. There'll be good meetings over the weekend. We've shown them the finish line. We need both of them to say yes. But what happened last night with those missile strikes should remind everybody of why this war needs to end. It's horrible those missiles landed. What's even worse is there are today people that were alive yesterday that are not alive today, because this war continues, and the president wants to stop it. And everyone should be thanking the president for being a peacemaker and trying to save lives. That's what we're trying to do here. It's not our war. We didn't start it, as you know. But we're trying to end the dying. We're trying to end the destruction. And we've shown the path forward. We can see the finish line, but both of them have to get there. We're going to do everything we can to help them get there, but they have to ultimately say yes. Both
And we are using a lot of pressure on both. You know, if you think we're just in there because we're nice people, and we are nice people, but we're using a lot of pressure on both.
Tell us what the pressure is. Like I said before in my Substack, diplomacy by delusion, disaster by design. I want to tell you something that I know from personal experience. Lies just don't distort reality, they become it. When a man lies as instinctively as he breathes, facts cease to matter. Truth becomes irrelevant. What's left is confusion, chaos, and control. And that's all that this group is looking for. They're looking for confusion, for chaos, and control. So let's not let that happen. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.